The theft that made the Mona Lisa a masterpiece. If you were standing outside the Louvre in Paris on the morning of August 21, 1911, you might have noticed three men hurrying out of the museum. They would have been pretty conspicuous on a quiet Monday morning, writer and historian James Zug tells Weekends on All Things Considered host Guy Raz. Sunday night was a big social night in Paris, he says, so a lot of people were hungover on Monday morning. The men, three Italian handymen, were not hungover. But they might have been a little tired. They'd just spent the night in an art supply closet. And on that morning, with the Louvre still closed, they slipped out of the closet and lifted 200 pounds of painting, frame and protective glass case off the wall. Stripped of its frame and case, the wooden canvas was covered with a blanket and hustled off to the Quai d'Orsay station, where the trio boarded a 7:47 a.m. express train out of the city. They'd stolen the Mona Lisa. Famous, overnight. Before its theft, the Mona Lisa was not widely known outside the art world. Leonardo da Vinci painted it in 1507, but it wasn't until the 1860s that critics began to hail it as a masterwork of Renaissance painting. And that judgment didn't filter outside a thin slice of French intelligentsia. Mark of shame. After the Louvre announced the theft, newspapers all over the world ran headlines about the missing masterpiece. 60 detectives seek stolen Mona Lisa, French public indignant, the New York Times declared. The heist had become something of a national scandal. In France, there was a great deal of concern that American millionaires were buying up the legacy of France, the best paintings, Dorothy Hubler says. At one point, American tycoon and art lover J.P. Morgan was suspected of commissioning the theft. Pablo Picasso was also considered a suspect, and was questioned. A masterpiece returned. 28 months after he snatched it from the Louvre, Perugia finally made a pass at selling the Mona Lisa to an art dealer in Florence. But the dealer was suspicious. He had the head of an Italian art gallery come take a look at the painting. A stamp on the back confirmed its authenticity. They said, "Okay, leave it with us, and we'll see that you get a reward," Tom Hubler says. Perugia went back home. But half an hour later, to his surprise, the police were at his door. He said later that he was trying to return it to Italy, that he was a patriot and it was stolen by Napoleon, and he was trying to return it to the land of his birth, James Zug says. And so, with much fanfare, the painting was returned to the Louvre. Perugia pleaded guilty to stealing it, and was sentenced to just 8 months in prison.